into your light. It's your time to grow. Plant the seeds of purpose.
Welcome to the Reap and Rise podcast. And today we'll be looking into the world of mental health, a topic that affects so many lives. It's great to be covering this today. I feel like it's becoming even more apparent that we need to discuss this. It might surprise you to learn that 1 in every 8 people worldwide lives with a mental disorder. And now this is a significant number. Mental disorders are incredibly common. And what exactly do we mean by mental disorder? It's not just feeling down sometimes, not at all. Mental disorders involve significant disturbances in thinking, emotional regulation, or behavior. It's not about the occasional bad day. It's something that really impacts daily functioning. It has a huge impact. So what are some of the main types of mental disorders? There are many types of mental disorders, and according to the World Health Organization, some of the more common ones include anxiety disorders, which affect around 301 million people, including 58 million children and adolescents. And then there's depression, impacting approximately 200 million people. Then bipolar disorder, PTSD, schizophrenia, and eating disorders are other significant categories as well. PTSD is post-traumatic stress disorder, a condition that can develop after exposure to an extremely threatening or horrific event. And it can cause re-experiencing of the trauma, avoidance, and a persistent sense of threat. And what about schizophrenia? Well, this is a condition that affects around 24 million people worldwide. It affects how a person sees, hears, and understands the world, and it can cause challenges in how they behave. Symptoms can include strong false beliefs that don't go away, seeing or hearing things that aren't there, and confused or jumbled up thinking, and then restlessness or agitation. It can be incredibly challenging for those affected. And so what causes these mental disorders? And is there anything that we can do about them? Well, there isn't one single cause. It's a combination of factors, including genetics, psychological, and biological influences. But the good news is that effective prevention and treatment options exist for many mental disorders. The bad news, on the other hand, is that most people do not have access to effective care. And that's a huge problem. It is very important that people seek help. Stigma is also a huge barrier. Many people experience stigma, discrimination, and violations of their own human rights because of mental disorders. And that's why it's important to be talking about these things, to reduce that barrier and stigma. And what about specific treatment options for these different mental disorders? Well, anxiety disorders can be treated with psychological or talking therapies, and sometimes medication is required. Depression also responds well to therapy and medication. Bipolar disorder treatment often involves psychoeducation, stress reduction, and medication. And for schizophrenia, treatment involves medication, again, psychoeducation, and psychosocial rehabilitation. So everyone's treatment is different, and they're treated according to their needs. And what about eating disorders? So eating disorders can be hard to treat, but getting support as a family and talking therapies can help change those unhelpful thoughts, and treatment can work really well then. And in all cases, early access to treatment is key. This is so important. And so how does the WHO address mental health on a global scale? Well, the World Health Organization recognizes the essential role of mental health in achieving overall health for everyone. They have a detailed mental health plan with 4 main goals. They talk about leadership, They talk about joined up mental health and social care services and more focus on prevention and raising awareness, and also improving research and data. It is encouraging to see global efforts to make mental health care better, but each country faces its own challenges when it comes to putting these plans into action. And what are some of the key risk factors that might make someone more vulnerable to developing a mental health condition? There are many factors, as you can imagine. Exposure to adverse circumstances such as poverty, violence, disability, and inequality can all increase the risk. It's a combination of individual, family, community, structural factors that either protect or undermine mental health. So it's a complex interplay of different influences, and it's tough. And what about the kind of support that people can get with mental disorders, just beyond the medical treatment? Well, they need comprehensive support, including the social support. People with mental disorders need assistance in developing and maintaining their personal, family, and social relationships. They may also need support for education programs, employment, housing, and participation in other meaningful activities for them. And a holistic approach is crucial here. So we see what good care looks like, yeah? What about the biggest challenges then? What are some of those challenges in providing the adequate mental health care globally? One of the biggest challenges is that health systems haven't adequately responded to the needs of the people with mental disorders and are significantly under-resourced. There's a wide gap between the need for treatment and its provision, and care is often poor in quality when it is delivered. For example, less than a third of people with depression receive formal mental health care, and that's deeply concerning. And is there anything we can do as individuals to support mental health in our own communities? Well, absolutely. We can help reduce the stigma, we can help promote understanding, and definitely encourage those that need help to seek it. Educating ourselves about being compassionate, being good listeners can make a huge difference. And what about neurodevelopmental disorders? How do they fit into the broader picture of mental health? So neurodevelopmental disorders like autism and ADHD or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder affect how a person thinks, moves, speaks, or relates to others. And treatments that focus on behavior and social skills, as well as some medication, can really help. And then we've got the disruptive behavior disorders like conduct disorders. They're also quite common. These involve ongoing problems such as not following rules or hurting others. Treating these conditions usually involves support from parents, from caregivers, and also from teachers. There is a wide range of these conditions, and each person needs a plan that's right for them. So what are the key takeaways from today's episode? I want you to remember that mental disorders are common and that prevention and treatment are possible, and that the support is crucial. We need to continue breaking down barriers and improve access to care so that everyone can receive the help that they need. I hope you found this episode insightful. I believe that it's very important to have these discussions at such a time as this. And thank you for joining me today on this discussion about mental disorders. It's been a pleasure sharing this information. Remember, you are not alone, and there is hope for recovery. Keep checking in for more as we explore individual mental health conditions. You can find references and other helpful resources in the show notes. Thanks again for listening. Remember, share and subscribe so you never miss an episode. Also, visit the website, again, link in show notes, and our socials where you can find even more resources. See you next week.